Hello, hello, hello. I believe we are live. Are we live? We're live. Hello, everybody. My name is Cherie Brennan, and I am Stopgap's Community Engagement Practitioner. My pronouns are she and her, and for those it may be useful for a brief audio description of myself. I am a white woman with short brown wavy hair. I also have blue eyes with a bit of a yellow tint. I'm about 5'6", and I am wearing a brown vest top with blue jeans. I also have a tattoo slightly visible on my shoulder. And I'm sitting here with...
Hi, I'm Floyd Konde, and I'm a filmmaker. My pronouns are his and him. And a brief audio description for those of you who need it is that I'm a black man. I wear glasses, I have a beard, I'm about 5'8", and I'm wearing a red top with stripes and black trousers.
Brilliant. So before we get started, we just wanted to let you know that we promise we're not breaking any social distancing rules. For those that don't know us, we are actually a couple. So this is our little support bubble. Mm-hmm. Now, with that out of the way, we hope that you have enjoyed this morning and all of the amazing classes, and just, yeah, there's been so much going on and it's been brilliant. But now it's time to grab a cuppa. We've got green tea. We're trying to healthy.
Decaf.
Green tea, grab a cuppa, maybe a bite to eat, and just, yeah, we welcome you to join us as we chat through all things dance and film. And we're going to get to know Floyd a little bit better. It's quite weird, actually. I'm in my everyday clothes and not dance clothes.
Yeah, you look good. You look good.
Thank you. Brilliant. So, okay, Floyd.
Yep.
When did you start your journey as a filmmaker, and how has it been so far?
Well, we're going back a few years, maybe like 10 years now. So it all started at college, I would say, maybe even at GCSE level, where I did media studies. But it really, I think at college, at the end of college, that's when I knew that I wanted to pursue the filming, a career in filmmaking. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So obviously I went to uni, and that's where I met you, and I studied film studies there. And I did a sandwich course with a placement year, so I was able to get professional experience along the way. That's when I was introduced to Stopgap as well. Mm-hmm. And I believe, I think the first project we did together, a film project, was Dance the Day Away documentary.
Yes, that was my placement project.
Yeah, which is available on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, actually. And after graduation, I didn't go straight into freelancing. I did a couple of months at a professional trailer advert making company, and then in January of 2017 I became freelance, and I've been working predominantly with Stopgap ever since, and other various companies as well, and doing other projects.
Brilliant. So obviously you've been working on the home practice videos.
Yep.
What were your expectations and surprises of filming the groundwork and seed videos?
There were a few. The main expectations were the size of the room, the studio. Mm-hmm. Tyndall was quite a sizable room, and it was always going to affect the sound reverb. Okay. But thankfully, Tyndall, the studio that we were, had black curtains that were going around the studio space. So we pulled them all in, closed, and that basically kind of nullified all the echo that it would have created. The second expectation was filming multiple takes from multiple angles. A rule of thumb for filmmakers is that you always do 2 takes minimum.
Top tips for inspiring filmmakers like that?
Even if you nail the first take, you always do a second take just for good luck. And so that was an expectation which I liaised, which I briefed the teachers on from the get-go, and filming from 2 different angles as well. Mm-hmm. So the slider angle, and also a super close-up for detailed hand gestures or movements.
Okay.
Another expectation was the heat.
Oh, it was hot.
It was
so hot.
Yeah, it was it was the height of summer, and the room would get really hot, especially with the lights as well. That just turn it into a big furnace, basically. And yeah, that was quite important to stay hydrated in between takes and stuff like that. Open the window. And another one was the multiple light sources from the studio space.
Yeah, it's like quite rigged, isn't it?
Yeah, there's lots of light riggings, and so we had to make sure that no shadows were casted. So we turned off multiple light sources. The surprises were how long it took to set up at day one. It took, I believe, from 9:30 in the morning up until midday, I think.
Okay, so it's half the day.
Yeah. So, and I believe we were shooting Lucy's videos, and we only could do one of the videos. We had to do the second one another day because we spent so much. Yeah, we basically ran out of time. And lastly, the fatigue was a surprise for me.
Oh yeah, you were knackered when you came home.
Yeah, it was mainly because I hadn't been on set for quite a while.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect me to be so tired, even though I was like doing a 2 or 3 man job on my own. I thought, I wasn't doing a lot of, I don't know, running about or anything. So obviously I was on my feet the whole day. So eventually, it took its toll, but I was just surprised of how tired I was by the end of the days. But yeah, so that was another surprise, really.
Okay, brilliant. So were there any, if any, new skills or things that you could take away for the future that you found during the editing and filming and editing process?
So on set, directing, my directing skills were called into action, basically. And I think that communicating and being able to calm any nerves that the teachers may have, and that came from how good I was at basically telling them, being clear of what to do. Yeah. And basically help them just kind of relax, basically. And that came from my direction as well. And I guess it was different in terms of, this was a project where I had to be very like hands-on with the teacher, as opposed to most films that I do, kind of like in the background. Yeah. And I'm just shooting, I'm just you go off, be yourselves, and I'm just gonna shoot. Don't mind me. This time it was, we really need to work together here to make sure that we're, So it's like quite a collaboration. Yeah. It was a closer collaboration than other films that I've done in the past, basically, apart from 1 or 2. But another one was my attention to detail. So, for instance, making sure that continuity was consistent with objects in the background and things like that. The little things. Yeah, make sure the window wasn't open in one take and closed in the other. Make sure the plants were still in the same place. Making sure, going from take to take, the teacher was going off from the last body position. So if someone was sitting down, to make sure that the next take they were sitting down, going into the next section. Things like that. Yeah. Time management as well, because we were doing 2 videos a day, so we had to make sure that we finished 1 video before lunchtime, break, and then do the second video before for the second half of the day. Yeah. But make sure we stayed on track. So around 1:30 we break for lunch, and so we kept that pattern. So make sure that we went on task. And lastly, camera skills, basically. Okay. The slider shots that you see in the videos. I have a question for non-filmy people. What's a slider? A slider is basically a long kind of track, basically, which the camera sits on. It's got this little head. You put the camera on top and it just glides very slowly. Well, depends on how fast you do it, but it's basically a train track, call it that. Really, for cameras. And so I place it, and I'd have to really have a steady hand. It's not as easy as it looks. So that was quite hard. A lot of concentration was needed to make it look smooth as possible. So I think my camera skills developed as well after that. And I think there was one more. I think editing, simple editing. Yeah. Making sure that the frontal angle was predominantly what was being used, and not so many different angles, because I was quite artistically cutting between different angles. But I think we needed to be quite simple with editing. Yeah. So, and editing took quite a long time, didn't it? Yeah. 10 videos across 2 or 3 weeks. And yeah, that was extensive work, but we got there. We got there. They are ready. They are ready to go. Yeah. So let's hear about other film projects you've been in, and been involved in. You've been involved in quite a few. Yeah. Are there any that stand out to you, or maybe that you've got a favourite one, and why? So there's loads that I've done in the past 2 or 3 years. some outside of Stopgap, obviously, short films that I've done with another group that I've met at the NYFA, the National Youth Film Academy. We did a short film in a week, 2 weeks, I think. That was quite a challenge because we just met all these different people, all these different strangers that come from different parts of the country and even outside the country. And so we made a film within 2 weeks, and we had to write it in 1 day, shoot it in 4, edit it in like 5 or 3 days.
Oof, intense.
So that was intense. That was memorable. That's also available online. In terms of Stopgap, there was 2 projects that I really liked. There was one where we did a dance film called Outside In. This was shot in a dance studio and outside forest. And it was basically about the dancers' connection and tranquility with nature.
Okay.
And I just loved how it was sunny. It was a lot better than today. Basically. And so it was the first time I used my slider as well. And the money shot, I called the money shot, was the final shot where he kind of opens his arms and the birds in the background kind of fly in the background. And it was sunny, it was perfect. I was like, in that moment, I was like, oh my God, stay.
That happy accident.
Yeah, if I messed it up, then it would have just gone to waste and I've been so upset, but that was memorable. Who
was involved in that film?
So the choreographic development was Siobhan Hayes. The dancer was Shine Theory. That was the first time we'd met. And Callum Graham was one of the producers, along with Shoyo Shabata. And it was a film that got showcased at the Waltham Forest Borough of Culture.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you got another one?
Yeah, one more. Another one was called A Space and Time. It was a short documentary shot at the Richard Colliers College in Horsham. So young people from that college and young people from the Butterfly Projects in Horsham collaborated on a piece choreographed by Chris Pavia and Anna Pierce in support. And it was shot over a 3-week period. And it was a piece that was showcased at the Capitol Theatre in Horsham, local theatre there. And so it was basically showing the progression that they were going through, basically. Yeah. And I really loved how we combined the stage performance and the actual R&D,
research and development
throughout the weeks, and the soundtrack that we used really complemented the choreography.
I think I remember actually when you were showing me that one, because I get a sneaky peek before they all go out. I remember saying that I think this is probably one of your best works.
Yeah, I
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would echo that. It was definitely one of my favorites. And it's weird because at the time when I was filming, I felt like I wasn't doing a great job. But then, so maybe it was because I was just being paranoid and just nervous. But it turned out really good. I was happy with the end product. Yeah.
I'm sure as well, one of our Stopgap team can maybe pop in the comments where you could find these videos to have a look. Vimeo, YouTube. I'm sure if you're interested, they will. You'll be able to find them. So kind of keeping on the theme of like young people, I am always asking if you are free to support and volunteer with our youth companies. And we finally got him on stage last year at our annual Winter platform. Shout out to Nikki Norton for making that happen.
All down to Nikki.
So what do you enjoy most with our creative learning work?
So predominantly once a week, I would go to Stepping Stones on a Saturday and help out we'll help out with the youth groups. There'll be 2, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And I think what I liked most was the happy vibes. And how like I could just be a different version of myself. I could just be free and just kind of dance. Like, for instance, there was a game that we do, it was Pass the Touch. And you take it in turns to dance in a circle and just freestyle. And I really liked how everyone was just so enthusiastic and happy. And some people would do it for 2 seconds, well, not 2 seconds, 10 seconds. Some people would do it for like
ever. But it's great. We love it.
And it was, it was that kind of happy vibe. You know what I mean? It was like sometimes, you have circle time. You'd sit in a circle. You'd ask, "Have you had a good week or a bad week?" And sometimes, there'd be mixed answers, but you can tell that they really wanted to be there, and it was important for them to be there. It was like them looking forward to kind of hang out with their friends and extracurricular outside of school kind of thing was, it's just, like I really liked the vibe. Like I just loved it. I loved the relationships that I got to develop with the young people as well. It was really sweet, basically.
Brilliant. Kind of going back slightly, because when we met, I introduced you to company class. And obviously now, like you said, you're in the middle, freestyling, improvising, just doing you. But, when I introduced you to company class, you maybe were not as experienced in dance. So how do you feel company class is inclusive for those that maybe have less experience?
Back at uni, there would be Stopcap would host open classes to the public and to students of Surrey University, and that's where you introduced me to Stopcap. That was my first introduction, and what stood out was how inclusive it was in terms of the language that the teachers would use that was universal to people who were either a standing dancer or people who were in a wheelchair, for instance. So say things like travel around the space instead of walking or running around the space, things like that. And just the general kind of encouraging you to do your best, but as to what you can do, basically. And just kind of really being inclusive to all different dance levels, like someone like me who's a rookie, basically coming in just to try it out, and then it became a hobby or something to do once a week. I really enjoyed, and I was able to develop relationships with the dancers and the teachers there, and I just really enjoyed and staying fit as well. That was another thing, but in a different way, because predominantly I was doing tennis and football and stuff like that, but this was a different way to stay fit and to stay active and to just explore something different. And I just really feel like it was designed to really cater, or to really really try and get people involved who probably wouldn't normally, like Phil. He was another one who joined in.
Yeah, we love Phil. Shout out to Phil.
Yeah, so I do miss those classes, actually. It was good times, basically.
Brilliant. So to round us up, what are you most proud of in regards to the home practice videos that are going to be released very, very soon?
So I'm proud of how professional it looks. We whilst we were developing it, we were inspired by Yoga with Adrian. And we wanted to go for that style. And I think we really replicate that style. We really tried to replicate the kind of comfort of being at home. And for the teachers to be quite, I was proud of how they delivered to camera as well. Obviously, very positive, very smiley, and very, kind of, positive. Welcoming, that's the word. Open, so that I was proud of how everything, the camera angles and the lighting, I think it was all well executed. It was a good team effort. And I think the videos will come across really well in terms of teaching and helping to include people who, again, like open classes may not be, doing this every day, but that can feel like, I can do this, you know what I mean, basically. Brilliant.
Well, thank you, Floyd.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to everybody else that has joined us today. I believe up next we have Amy with Clockwork Arms, so please stay tuned for that. I believe if you just click on the SG logo, it takes you to our channel, playlists, and then home practice playlist, and then you'll be able to find the next video. Again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day. There's so much more to come, and we'll hopefully see you very soon. Bye.